Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again, and now we will start formally. In the previous lecture I just gave you an overview and we run through the different concepts, approaches, and you can say the content course. I also mentioned some of the recommended books. Now we will start our course formally, and we will start from the definition, introduction, scope, nature of our course. So the introduction as an activity. Now we are going to define this a complex and the complicated phenomena that as an activity, public administration is as old as the human civilization itself. In the beginning I also mentioned that this discipline is not new, although it is in a well-disciplined form. It is new for Pakistan, but it is as old as the human civilization itself. What this means, that from the very first day of human civilization, the public administration concept started. Not as refined and not as complicated, complex and important as nowadays. Very simple concept at that time. The emperor, or you can say the leader or the captain, has to do nothing, just to pick up his team and then implement the policies. First they framed the policies. There was not a huge consultation with one another. It is the very beginning scene of the public administration. So as an activity, public administration is as old as the human civilization itself. The academic discipline of public administration is just 100 years old. It is very interesting that as an activity, it has been being done since the civilization of human being, but as an academic discipline, this is only 100 years old. It means a century-old phenomena, not you can say very much old as compared to the other phenomena like economics and whatsoever other. However, modern public administration differs considerably from the ancient and medieval form of public administration. Now we are in a totally different era. And this era is, you can say that this is a modern era. It is a very well awareness era, very difficult to manage the public, the people, and it is now the concept of public administration is, you can say, the 180-degree different from the ancient or the medieval. Ancient mean in the very beginning and medieval in the middle ages of the human civilization. We will discuss this differences. What are the difference? The major differences, if I want to say it right this time, the major difference is that in the beginning it was quite simple. It was quite easy. It was not considered as a academic discipline. It was only an activity. Now it is a pure academic discipline, and it is being convened in a very sophisticated way, and it has become a complex and, you can say, a very difficult phenomenon. Public policy versus public administration. In the first lecture, I tried to explain the difference between these two concepts, very near concept on as the public knows or the students knows, but as I mentioned that there is a significant difference between public policy and public administration. So what is public policy? It is a mechanism to frame any kind of mechanism, system, process or procedure to address any phenomena. first a phenomena appears and then there is a need for the policy. If there is no phenomena, no need for policy. I am talking about the general, you can say, the general concept. There are some, you can say, the anticipatory policies also. So I am just limiting myself at the common phenomena. So what is the public policy? Looking at some of the specific phenomena, it is a mechanism, procedure, system to address that issue, the problem. What kind of this problem? According to that, now we are still not talking about that how it is framed. I am talking about just this definition, that when to address any kind of phenomena, there is some any system or procedure is called the public policy. On the other hand, public administration, it is the implication of the said policy. Or you can say it will be the better word, that it is the implementation. Even better, implementation of the public policy. Public policy is only on the paper. How to execute the public policy, what has been decided, it is now in the domain of the public administration. Through different instruments, or you can say the different tiers. How to implement this? Because you have decided that you are going to alleviate poverty, but you will have to, you framed a policy that the problem exists, and particularly we say that in rural Pakistan, the problem of education or dropout level is more rampant. What you will frame a policy, any kind of policy, but when you will going to execute, it is the public administration. It is concerned with the implementation of government policies. No difference between public policy and the government policy. It is just concerned about the implementation, that the government or the state or the policy maker make policy. When it is the public administration is totally concerned about how to implement, and is an academic discipline that studies this implementation. So what is the public administration as a discipline? That it studies that how the policies are being implemented, what are their results, where the hurdle lies, where the gap lies, how these policies could be made more fruitful, and many other things. And prepares civil servants for working in the public service. It also studies that how to recruit the civil servants and to make them working for the eligible, you can say the more efficient for the public servant. So in one sentence I would like to say that the public policy is the mind and the public administration is the, you can say, the organs of the body. There is, you can say, interlink between this public administration and public policy. These are complement to each other. One with the other is useless. Approaches, there have been many approaches about this public policy. I will not only define a single policy here. It is not the final 5 policies. There are more than 5 approaches about the public administration, but these are most famous. So I have just chosen this. When I will be coming to these approaches, I will discuss this in detail. The first is the behavioral approach. The other is system approach. All are, as I said, all are their advantages as well as their disadvantages. One policy may be more effective in one circumstances or frame of reference. The other may be not as effective in other frame of reference. So the public choice, the other is ecological approach. This is a bit different in the new framework. The other is public choice approach, a more modern approach as compared to the other. And this is the last one, is the contingency approach. I deliberately not explaining these approaches. I am going to first define the public administration from different angle, and then at proper time we will explain this. So what is the public administration? Public administration has different definitions. The most common definition, we will start from the most common definition, and we will see that what is the difference between the different approaches, and what is the other, you can say, the benefit, advantage, disadvantages, their role in the different context. The most common is that the public administration may be defined as all process. Now it is a collective term, it is a comprehensive, and I am speaking in the totality, that it is defined as all processes, organizations and individuals associated with carrying out the laws and other rules adopted or issued by legislature, executives and the courts. Now it is, you can say, the combining the whole policy implementation mechanism. When we are talking about the education, it is a part of the policy implementation. When I am talking about the sport policy, this is, you can say, another part. But when I am talking about what is the public administration, it is defined as the all processes, all organization and individuals that are related with carrying out laws. The laws are framed in the policy making framework. That is the policy, the public policy, and how to carry out these laws and other rules adopted or issued by legislatures, executives and the courts. From where these policy, public policy comes, there are three, you can say, source of this. This is the legislatures that frame the laws, these are the executive that execute these laws, and these are the courts that define, or you can say, the interpret the laws and issue order that are ultimately executed by these executive. So these are three major pillars of any policy implementation. They have further their many branches, and their mechanism is different for the legislature, the executives and the courts. But all the people, all the organization, all the individuals that are associated with, that are linking the policy making and the policy implementation, come in the frame of reference of the public administration. Now the other inclusive definition, that is the, you can say, that is more comprehensive with very little or small words. Administrators are the foremost but not the only individuals in public administration. So it means something is extra there, that the administrators, they are very important part of the organization, but we can't say that they are only the ultimate and they are the final ones. This definition is given by Gordon and Milakovich. Political definition. Now we are, that was the, you can say, the journal or the comprehensive or inclusive definition of the public administration. Now I am giving you some political, you will see political, then administrative, then organizational definitions of the public administration, and we will keep on discussion. Public is very simple and very interesting. Public administration is what government does, not what government perceive or what the government, you can say, the frames, but what government does. The policy is there, definitely the framing of the policy is also the work of the government, or you can say the policy maker, the legislator, and the implementation. So very simple, what the government does. Everyone knows the government provides the public services, including health and education and many others. So the whatever government does in any of the ways, it is called the public administration. If it is being done in a proper way, it is good public administration. But unfortunately, as in case of Pakistan, if it is not being done in a proper way, we will criticize it, and we will say that the public administration is poor or weakened, and there is some gap that must be identified and fulfilled. as a profession. Now public administration is also profession of the public administrator. As a profession, public administration has developed values and ethical standards, but now I will discuss up to first here. As a profession, it has developed values and ethical standard. You can say the SOPs, how to execute, how to implement this. Every time we have a mechanism. If you go into any of the organization, they have a profession, they knows how to this carried out. For example, if you go to the NADRA, National Authority of Registration, sometimes you will find they will see that this is not our procedure. You are convincing them. For example, you want to change, your date of birth is not correctly mentioned there, you want to change it. There is standard procedures that we call that these are the values or norms, conditions, or you can say the boundaries, the limits, whatever words you use for this. But as an activity, when we take it activity, it means we can take it as two parts. The first is we can take it as the profession, and the other is it is an activity. As an activity, it merely reflects the cultural norms, beliefs, and power realities of its society. When we have to implement it, it reflects what are the cultural norms, what are the beliefs of the people to whom it is being implemented, and what are the power realities of the society, how the society is being, you can say, the cooperated or the policy, the mechanism of the development of the society. The other definition, I can go one step further, that the public administration is the totality of the working day activities, not working activities of me if I am not a public administration, but it is the working day activities of the public administrators of all the world's bureaucrats. Now look at this, this definition has included the whole world into this definition, not only you can say the Pakistan and India or any of the region, not the activities of one bureaucrat like you or any other, but what this says that these are the totality of the working day activities of all the world's bureaucrats. What the bureaucrats all over the world are doing, they are doing the public administration. Very simple to understand this. It means every time at any part of the world, public administration is being done in one way or the other, whether they are legal or illegal. This concept is very, you can say, to make it clear, I would like to differentiate it. If the public administration do it legally or illegally, there is no differentiation between legal or illegal. Whatever they do, this is part of the public administration. It is another debate whether it is legal or illegal, this is ethical or non-ethical. These are other debates, but as we are concerned about the public administration, we say that every activity, legal or illegal, competent or incompetent, or you can say the efficient or inefficient, or you can say the decent or indecent or despicable, these all includes the part of the public administration. In case of Pakistan, if I would like to impose, or you can say implement this definition in the frame of reference, so I would like to say that all the routine activities of all the bureaucrats, as I explained, that the establishment is even, you can say, maybe more appropriate, but we are using the norms that is in the literature, that the activities all of the Pakistani Sarkari Babus ki tamam activities, they are part of the public administration. Now forget about legal or illegal. If they are legal, it is good. If they are illegal, even it is good, because it is part of the public administration. Incompetent or competent definitely need not to say that these are in Pakistan. Most of the time these are incompetent, because as the policies are not giving the true results, it means these are incompetent. If these are carried out in a decent way or indecent, or you can say the despicable way, we are not concerned about. What this means, now you are thinking as an independent judge, executor. You can umpire now, and we are now truly, in the traditional view, we are explaining this, that it is legal or illegal. When we include these debates into our discussion, then we will be dragged to some other discussion. The discussion exists of this legal or illegal, competent or incompetent, decent and indecent, but still we are not touching this topic. Political definition continues. Public administration is both direct and indirect. Look at this. Now legal, illegal, decent, indecent. Now it is it is both direct as well as it is indirect. What is the direct? Provisions of services like mortgage insurance, mail delivery and electricity. These are direct. The government has the charge to provide these services. Government itself provides services. In context of Pakistan, this is not the, you can say in all the departments, it is not you can say the part of all the department, but you can say that now this is the directly duty of the government by now this time. And if you go for the Pakistan Post Office, mail delivery is also being provided by the Pakistani government. Further, I can include that the railway services are also the direct public administration. What this means, the government directly jumps, and there is no gap between the public and the government. Government in itself directly through its bureaucrats try to provide the service to the community or its population. What is the indirect? Government has not enough time, or you can say enough resources, or you can say enough capacity to carry out all the services to the population directly. So what the government takes another initiative or decision. When the government pays private contractors, government make contracts with the private implementers to provide goods and services to the citizen. For example, this is the space shuttle. It is not correct in case of Pakistan, and dams also not correct in case of Pakistan. The other, you can say that now you can say the mobile service in case of Pakistan. In general, in some countries it is possible, this one and this one. Dams are also the direct service of the government. Government provides dams, although the construction is being provided by the private contractors also. So it is the government's responsibility to construct this. So when these are and what are this? This is the mobile service that is being provided to you, that this is totally now on the private sector. So my first the query comes from here, that the why government doesn't provide all the services directly. It looks more feasible, but at the same time three factors are, you can say, restricting government to provide all the services directly. The first is the limitation of the budget. Government has not enough resources to provide these all services. The other is the capacity. If government provides all services to the community in itself, its size will become very large. And the last is the efficiency issue. It is now a universal truth, you can say, that the public sector is less efficient as compared to the private sector. For example, if you are working in a public organization, your efficiency is low, but at the same time, if you are working in a private sector, your productivity or your efficiency is higher, keeping all other things, you can say, the constant. The political definition still continues. We have just done two things. The first is that it is a profession as well as the activity. The other, we went more comprehensively. It includes legal, illegal, decent or indecent activities. The other one was that it is a combination of direct as well as the indirect. Now the public administration is a phase in the policy making cycle. Now we are plugging one of the, you can say, the box into the whole policy system. There is a policy cycle, the framework of the policy, that is totally different from the implementation. Implementer are just on the looking, they have no role in making the policy implication. It is the role of the policy maker to see whether the policy is being implemented in a proper way. If it is not properly implemented, they can refine the policy framework. But in the policy cycle, it is a phase. Public administration is a phase in the, this word is important, and it is making in the policy making cycle. It is a cycle that starts from some process and it ends up with the implementation. Administration does not end with this is one, the other. The implementation does not end with the implementation, just contradictory to my previous remark just I have given, because some will always think it can be done better. This is the most interesting aspects of the public administration. What this means? It doesn't mean that first you apply the civil servants applied the public administration. It is not necessary. It is not now end to this public administration. It further continues because now people will criticize it. People means the experts, the communities, the stakeholders will criticize it. And how they will criticize? They will say that if it is done in this way, it has more usefulness, and as it has been done in this way, so it has less, or you can say lower level of satisfaction. So the one step further, that the public administration is not the ends up at the public implementation. It continues till there is the criticism, or you can say the discussion that it can be done better. Public administration is implementing the public interest. One more general, public administration is only being done in the interest of the public. It is not as the vested interest of the nation, as many of our political you can say agents are the when the military there are military takeover, they says that every step will be taken in the vested interest of the nation. They are theoretically true, but we have seen that there were not many of the decisions that were taken in the vested interest of the nation. But here it is that the public administration implementing the public interest, the ultimate, the theoretical, or you can say the true sense of the public administration is that it is being done for the public interest. It should, what is the public interest? To increase their welfare. If it is going against the public, although it is not the policy implementers that they should do, the policy makers are responsible for this, that the policy is not correct. They may get information from the policy implementers, and they can tell them that this policy is facing such problems on the ground realities. Because the theory is different, but when the rubber hits the road, then the real situation appears. Otherwise, till it is on paper, it is well and good. But as it goes into the process, it brings you can say new phenomena, and now there is a need to have feedback and to incorporate this. So the public administration is the implementation implementing the public interest. Very vast term. Public interest is a extremely vast term. Many things can be included into this. The public interest is a universal label. Now look at this. I have just explained that it is a universal label in which political actors wrap the policies and programs that they advocate. Public give power to the policy makers because the public thinks that they will work for the interest of the public. Now what is this? That it is a public interest is the universal label for in which political actors wrap the policies, design the policies and programs that they advocate. जो इलेक्शन में उन्होंने बात जो है वो की थी, बिफोर देयर इलेक्शन दे वर सेइंग दैट दे विल डू दिस, दे विल इंक्रीज दिस, दे विल रिड्यूस दिस, दे विल गिव द हाउसेस, दे विल गिव द शेल्टर, दे विल गिव द मील, they will give the education to the people. Now the public interest is that now it is a time for the policy maker to make wrap the policies around the slogans. The public interest is commonly accepted good. This is no debate on this. No, you will find no debate that the debate is discussing that the policies should be contradictory with the public interest. The definition of the public interest may differ from one community to another community, from one region to another, not much significantly, but at the same time, if anything falls in the domain of the public interest, it is accepted by all. All the social scientists, all the public community, they all accept it, that this is, you can say, it is a universally accepted goods. Now we just spent 3 slides on the political definition of the public administration. Now we are looking at its another aspect, that is the legal definition of public administration. Because public administration, what is state does? If you remember, what one of the definition was what the government, the public administration is what the government does. So here what does this? Public administration is what a state does. It is both created and bound by an instrument of law. It is not law free. It should be working within some of the framework. No public administration without the law. If there are no law, what is the law? These are the rules how to implement, or you can say the policies. Whenever you listen that no, this is not according to the law, it means there is a framework working behind. In the light of that framework, every policy implementation is being carried out. So it is both created and bound by an instrument of the law. Law helps in creating the policy and it also helps in implementing. The other is public administration is the law in action. Very simple. It is like the other one. Simply it is now the legal definition as compared to the political definition. When the law is in action, the public administration is in action. When the law is weaker, public administration is weaker. When the law is powerful, similar situation of the public administration or whatsoever. So very simple to remember that public administration is the law in action. And you know the law has very long, you can say the long powers, but unfortunately in Pakistan, we will discuss this, and I discussed in the first lecture that what are the problem with public administration in Pakistan. Public administration is inherently the execution of a public law. Inherently means by default, that it is nothing else, that it is only that public law exists. So there is now the discussion which comes first, the egg or the chicken. So the public policy comes first, then comes the public administration. In the light of that public policy, the same situation is being explained in these words, that public administration is inherently the execution of a public law. Laws or public policy is there. When we inherently execute that, it becomes a public administration. every application of general law is necessarily an act of administration. आप कोई भी जो है वो लॉ की एप्लीकेशन करते हैं, पब्लिक सर्वेंट मेक्स execute any of the law, it becomes a part of the public administration. In the Pakistan, the Constitution of 1973 with amendment is the law of the land. This is the law of the land. All the, you can say, the policies are being framed on in the light of this law. This gives a broad picture that this is the framework, and within this framework there will be many kind of the policies, and when there are policies, the law also get passed from this 1973. There were other constitutions of Pakistan also, but many of the people, or you can say the majority of the people, are agreed that this is the more comprehensive documents of Pakistani laws. So it is the law of the land. Every our source of implementation, policy framework goes towards the Constitution of 1973. Legal definition still continues. It may be boring for you, but it is necessary in the beginning to make clear that what is the legal definition, what is the the political definition. So public administration is the king's law. It is the king's law. What the king thinks, he executes with its, you can say, the human manpower. It is the law. It is whatever goods, services or honors the ruling authority decides to bestow. जो भी आपकी जो है वो government decides about what it is going to provide to its population, it is called the public administration. Plaques and political machines, definitely it is being done by political machines. Public administration is theft. Look at this. This is a bit critical. It is a theft. How? The primary culprit is the redistribution. The one objective of the public administration is to redistribute the resources. It is a fundamental law of economics, fundamental assumption of economics, all the theories, that the resources are limited. You know that your resources are limited, my resources are limited. Every activity is being carried on the roads, in the industries, in the air, in the seas, our resources are limited. And on the other hand, our wants are unlimited. There is no check. Even if you have billions of dollars, you will continue to earn more and more, because as the income increases, the wants or desire do not come to an end. You can see the example of many people in Pakistan, like the business tycoon, you can the Malik Riaz, the financial tycoon Mian Muhammad Mansha, the political tycoon Nawaz Sharif and Zardari, but they never say that their desires are fulfilled. They continue to grab more and more money. So there is imbalance between this. The resources are limited, wants are very high. So what is this? It means there is a theft. When you will have to redistribute the resources, you will have to steal resources from one sectors to give it to the other sectors. So if you are making it a good way, we will see it is a better mechanism. And if it is being done randomly, as in case of Pakistan, not with the you can say the true power of the law or the policy, then we will say that it is not being carried out. So if there is you can say the question may be that the public administration is theft debate. It is a very, very long debate that how to redistribute the resources. You have listened about the National Finance Commission award, that the redistribution of resources among the provinces. Every province of Pakistan is claiming more and more resources as compared to other. The one province may say that the resources should be distributed according to the area. Punjab may say that the resources should be distributed due to the population because it has the more population. Many stakeholders there have their own interest, but the theft is done because there is redistribution. Total sum is 100. You have to reshuffle all these things. Any rand, according to any rand, it is the only proper function of the government of a free country is to act as an agency which protects the individual rights. Again, linking it with the public interest. Public interest is directly related to the individual's right. So any rand, that is you can say that is a very famous social scientist. He says that the proper, now he is choosing the word very accurately or very sensitively, that the proper, now look at this in the beginning we said no difference between legal and illegal. Now this definition says that the proper functioning of the government. It means there is now some proper and improper discussion in this of a free country. This is again very critical for Pakistan. So my immediate question, is a Pakistan independent state? You will say definitely yes. But if I make the question, are we equally independent in making our policy or implementing our policies? I may fear that the question may be on the other side of the previous question. So it is the definition for that, a free country can only protect the true rights of its individual. So if a country is independent like we are, but theoretically we are independent, but we are in the clutches of many stakeholders. The biggest stakeholder could be the IMF, International Monetary Fund. The public interest is being violated as there is increase in the tariff rates, increase in the prices of oil. What is this happening? When there is a government, and the meaning of the public administration is that the government does in the vested interest of the population. So why this is going against the public interest? One definition for this is that this is according to Ian Rand, this is the free country. Free country is a meaningful word, is to act as an agency. Government just provides the individual rights to the people just as the agency provides. For example, it's my right to be educated, it's your right to be educated. Every Pakistani has right to access to the good health facilities, education, basic needs and whatsoever. So if these are, and the government should provide this, so the public administration, so briefly speaking, public administration is just the provision of individual right like at any other agency. John Kenneth says it is simple matter of arithmetic. I think he is some, you can say the mathematician rather than the social science. He is bringing now the quantitative side into the qualitative side. The previous discussion was the qualitative, more, less, legal, illegal, whatsoever. When now the arithmetic, the average concept is coming into the discussion, our discussion may be more accurate, more comprehensible and more, you can say, the effective. It is a matter of arithmetic that change may be costly to man who has something. It cannot be so to the man who has nothing. Now it is a cost CBA analysis, we call it a CBA analysis, CBA, cost benefit analysis. Now doing public administration, as it is a theft, you are stealing the resources from one, you can say the pocket and putting it to the other pocket. It means now there is a cost benefit analysis. You will have to see that if you withdraw money from this side, what is the cost of it, and if you put this money to the other pocket, what is the benefit of this. and this is the plus minus. If the pluses are more than minuses, this is a good policy implementation, and if vice versa, the minuses are greater than pluses, it is not. The policy should be rethinked, reframed, rephrased so that it becomes effective. So the John Kenneth says that it is only arithmetic costly that to man who has something, जिसके पास कुछ है उससे आप ले रहे हैं, it cannot be so to the man who has nothing. The arithmetic simply says, what this says, that the haves and have-nots are not equal. After we have completed two aspects of the public administration definite, the first was political definition, the other was the legal. Now we are coming towards the managerial definition of public administration. Public administration is so much a branch of management, not the full management, it is a branch of the management, because at management level you may have to frame the policies. It is a branch of the management that many graduate schools of management, it is an example, are divided into public and private and now increasingly non-profit programs. So this is just one example that how this is, that when we divide different segments of the society, it is policy, public administration. For example, if you go to any of the university, you will see there are the departments, there are the schools, there are the faculties. So all this is being done by the public administration. I am talking about the public universities right now. Public administration is the executive function of government. There were two other functions. Do you remember? Yes, the first is the legislator. This is the executive. Legislator frame the policies and the executive, you can say, the implement this. For example, our legislative assembly, that is the National Assembly, and the Senate, that is called the Parliament, they have the power to frame any kind of policy, or you can say the law. When they frame, now they have their work is finished. Now it goes into the other section, that are the policy implementers. So their duty is to policy, that is the bureaucracy. So the policy is being implemented through the bureaucracy. Government agencies put into practice legislative act. Look at here, just I have explained, legislative act, Kanun Sazi, that represent the will of the people. We say that the laws are according to the will of the people, and it should be in a welfare state if the government wants to protect individual rights, and if the government is in favor of the public interest. So assuming that all the laws are being convened in the vested interest of the public, so the public administration is nothing else, it is just the legislative, the practical, it is the practical application of the legislation that is being made in the legislature assembly or whatsoever. The managerial definition we will prolong further with this managerial definition. Public administration is management specialist. The more you are good manager, the more you are good policy implementer. As I exemplified in the first lecture, many departments perform when their managers are changed. For example, if a bank branch is going not in the profit, the possibility exists, and more often it happens, and the first immediate solution is to change its head. And as the heads change, many of the times the results are good. The manager makes the big decisions. Managers are, you can say, the spirit of this current and the system. The managers do a wonderful jobs. The public administrations are also managers, because if you are the city police officer or superintendent police, senior superintendent police officer, you will have to maintain law and order in your jurisdiction. you have the same resources as the other person who will come on your seat. You can't say that the resources are limited, although it is presumed that you should be given enough resources. But with the same resources, with the same cards, same mobile, same infrastructure, you will have to provide good results. If you are unable to do this, you are not a good manager. So the manager, top management make the decisions. Top management makes the big decisions and are responsible for the overall success of the organization. Good decisions ban gaye. Now you, the others implementers, are responsible for its implication. I can mention many good policies that were poorly implemented. For example, in the floods or in any of the, you can say, the natural calamities, natural disaster, there are enough resources that people donated, but you will see on the, you can say, the televisions, or you can say in the print media or the electronic media, that there is some malpractices of this. The donation or the aid is not being transmitted in a proper way. So it means there is a lack of public administration. If it is convened in a proper way, now the government has some institution that help them to work in the calamities. So it is not well done, properly conveyed. But if the aid is going directly into the right direction, it is good public administration. You are doing it on, you can say, the daily basis. For example, I am sitting in now H8, where I am regarding this lecture. I want to go to the Faisal mosques. There are many methods to go there: by taxi, by van, on foot, by motorcycle. Now, what is the good administration of it? Although it is not the public administration, but it is my, you can say, the individual administration. I have the time constraint, I have the money constraint, I have other constraint of, you can say, the road. So what is this? The best policy that I adopt, it is called the administration. If it works well, I am a good administrator. If it doesn't work, I am a poor, you can say, the public or the administrator. Public administrators are found in middle management, locality, policy makers. All the policies are for the community. So these are in the middle stage, and you can say that these are at the very critical stage. It can widen the gap between the community and the policy makers. That is dangerous, and that is existing in case of now our country Pakistan. But if they are efficient and they can bridge this gap, then it is a very, very positive sign, and it increases the efficiency of the resources. The group responsible for the execution and interpretation of top management policies and the day-to-day operation of an organizational unit. The framework of the organization is written. That is called the PCO. The laws are, you can say, the other SOPs are framed within the, you can say, the law of the government. For example, taking the industry, you are the manager of the chemical industry. Now there is a standard procedure that you cannot throw water into the fresh water, you cannot pollute the water by throwing chemical into the waters. The policy exists there because it is against the public interest. And you have come on the seat, the policymaker have pledged to maintain or to secure the individual or the public interest. So we see around us that this is not being happened. So why it is not being happened? There is poor policy implication. Is similar happen. Food inspectors are there, but the quality of the meat is very poor, and you can see sometimes you listen in the newspaper that the butchers are selling the meat of the dead dead animal. So these all are the part of the public administration. It is the duty of the government to ensure it. For example, coming to the security, that is the more common phenomenon at this. It is poor public administration that a handful of people have become such a big threat. We have a very, you can say, large army, we have good infrastructure, we have, you can say, the mechanism, but what is happening, day by day, the situation is deteriorating. It is, policies are there. No need to worry about the policies. All parties conference, negotiate with the Taliban. Some says that use the rate of the government. How to use this rate of the government? Everyone knows this is the use of the force. But no implementation of this. The forces are there, weapons are there, will of the forces is there. It is the duty of the forces. You have to just give them the order for this, but there is the poor public administration of this. And the further it goes to one step further, that if we suppose that we allow our army, or you can say the forces, to carry out a operation to ensure the rate of the government. Now it is the duty of the policymaker is over. Now if the Ashfaq Parvez Kiani, that is the chief of the army staff right now, going to be retired in a few months, if he is unable to ensure the rate of the government, now it is the failure of the public administration. Now the public administration is the Kiani, General Kiani. So this is the mechanism that continues in this way. The managerial definition is going on. Public administration is a Mickey Mouse, or you can say it is a puzzle. It is a puzzle that it is very difficult to understand. There is a blame game. I am putting my duty to some other one. The some other was saying that it is not his job. So and sometimes good policies, good implementation, poor result. So it means it is a very, very complicated, interwoven, interlinked and interconjectural phenomena that is the public administration. Anything that requires considerable effort with few results. What is the Mickey Mouse? Anything that requires considerable effort. We are putting considerable effort. अगर हम सिर्फ अपनी debate को ही देख लें, that is being carried out in newspaper, on the media, and in the, you can say, even the public offices. Now the public offices are a good, present a good view of the, you can say, the talk shows, but the results are few. This is the puzzle, or you can say the Mickey Mouse phenomena, that more effort, but the progress is poor. I would like to repeat one sentence from Munir Niazi on this Mickey Mouse phenomena. Munir Niazi said, आसेब का साया है या क्या है, आसेब का साया है या क्या है, कि हरकत तेज तर है मगर सफर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता. I may be wrong in the first part of the sentence, but I am quite right in the second, that किस हरकत तेज तर है सफर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता. The same Mickey Mouse problem or the puzzle, that the public policies are implemented. It is a look busy do nothing situation. Often used mean red tape. Red tape is the one biggest hurdle in the quick and true implementation of the public administration. What is true red tapeism? The file start from here, the research officer, from the other, and ultimately it goes to the secretary. And if even there is a very, very small objection that the secretary can remove within a second, the file will take the same path to go down to the research officer. Everyone will be writing on this, the upper authority, look into the matter, and ultimately it will go to the research officer. He will refine it, and again it will take the path. It consumes lot of resources and time. So it is excessive formality. This is again linked with this Mickey Mouse phenomena, or you can say the reason of Mickey Mouse is the red tape. बहुत काम हो रहा है जी, big files are there, files are moving from here to there, from this table to that table, there is a heap of these files, but no efficiency or no result on the ground. Excessive formality and attention to routine, a red ribbon that officials used to tie up public documents. Public documents, more and more public documents. If you want to get very small favor, or you want to, even you can say to apply for a government job, look at the public service commissions. I have the experience of public service commission, 7 or 8 page performa in the age of this 21st century. So this is the red tapeism. Go for your the text statement, text जिसको आप text गोशवारे कहते हैं, very complicated. If you make it simple and understandable, the public administration of the taxation, to collect taxation, will become more effective. The same continues this definition, use because they promote efficiency and equity overall, although not always in individual cases. Use because they promote efficiency. So although there should be standard procedure, that I am not saying that this whole system should be removed, there should be step-by-step system, but there should be a mechanism that the process completes in a more quick way. It could be any of, you can say, this is maybe the final slide on the managerial definition of public administration. Public administration is an art. First work, science, and then art. The art is the most difficult part. Art, not the science. Science is easy. Look at this, people are afraid of science, scientific research, but it is art. When you apply the scientific methods, it becomes art, or vice versa. Public administration is actually both. In one sense, it is science, in one sense it is the other. Now the debate started from whether it is art or it is science. It is neither art, it is nor science. It is both. It is art as well as science, and vice versa. It is the both. It requires judgment and common sense. Very important. And you know, common sense is the sense. I think you are in a position to complete the sentence. Common sense is the sense which is not found in common people. So it means some special people have the common sense. We use this word very ardently. It also requires technical skill. Sirf common sense ही नहीं चाहिए. You need some kind of technical skills that allow for the digestion and transference of information. You have some technical skill, common sense, abilities, potential. You mean now the bureaucrat or any organ of the public administration. Just because you have the academic credential, this is the necessary condition, not the sufficient. Just academic credential, even you are the PhD, it is not guaranteed that you are a good public administrator. Does not mean that you can function as high-level administration. There is not, you can say, direct link between the higher education and between the good administration. The low-educated person may be more, you can say, a good manager as compared to a PhD scholar. So what was the purpose of this? This means that this is only academic credentials are necessary condition, but not the sufficient condition. So I would like to wrap up this second lecture, and I would like to give the summary of this. We started, if you remember, we started formally our course, that is the public administration in Pakistan. We started from the broad view, general view, and we rather started from a very, you can say, the common or the inclusive administration, and it was simple what the government does. In every country, in each part of the world, the governments are doing something. If they are doing less, it is public policy. If they are doing more, it is also the public administration. Why government does to secure the public interest, or that they have pledges during their election campaigns or in other stages of their electoral college. Then we divided this general definition into three definitions. First was the political definition of the public administration. The other was the legal definition of the public administration. And lastly, but more importantly, was the managerial definition of the public administration. I gave many definitions. Sometime I mentioned the writer, sometime I did not mention the writer. It is not necessary that you wrote these definitions that are necessary for this. You should have the concept that I wanted to convey. And if at the end of this lecture I am asked to close all this discussion in one sentence, I say that the public administration is a complex, complicated, necessary jobs being carried out with the civil servants. So see you in the next lecture. Take care, goodbye, and Allah Hafiz.